What's up, comic and pop culture fans? This is James with minthuntercomics, and I barely finished cleaning up from my last video when I got an announcement from CGC that James Tynion IV was going to be doing an in-house signing. Now, I've contemplated doing these signings in the past, but finally this time I decided to jump in. And to be honest, I'm still not sure if I did the right move. There's a lot of YouTube videos that show you how to submit comic books in for a CGC signature series, but I noticed there was no video pointing out what you really should know before you do this. Today we're going to look at that fine print and see the risk and reward to getting your books submitted in and getting that nice signature series yellow label right after the intro. What is your ideal book to ever get a signature? If you've already got your dream book already signed, let me know what you got in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit that like button for me. The first thing you need to know, guys, is this is an example of a CGC signature series. This is my copy of Justice League number 50, and it is signed by the artist Jason Fabok. You already see that this has a yellow label instead of, let's say, a blue label. Regular comic, signed comic. Can you submit a signed comic into CGC and get the yellow label? No. If you submit a comic with a signature already on it, it will get a green qualified label. What gives it this yellow label is that it is witnessed. There's witnessers in CGC that see the signing taking place, which allows it to get this yellow label. Now that we got that out of the way, let me loosely explain how the process works. You have a raw or an already graded comic book. You send it down to Florida, which currently is the only place that CGC operates. You sign it up for the signature series. The artist that you want to have sign it signs the book with CGC watching, and then at the end you get the nice yellow label. It sounds simple because it is pretty simple, and there's a million videos that you can watch to see how you can do that. But I'm going to be talking more about the should you do that. My first point is do not do this to make money. I've said this a few times on the channel, but this is where it's really prevalent. If you submit these comic books in, don't expect it to bump your book up $200, $300 unless it's a key. The reality of the situation is it's just kind of a fun thing for you to have. Do you like signatures on your comics or do you not? If you decide to get a signature on there for a little extra cool factor, that's awesome. Go through the right steps, get it done. But I'll tell you right now, you're probably not going to be able to sell it for double the value, so don't think that. Especially with brand new books, when you submit it in and you get that nice perfect 9.8, which isn't guaranteed, yes, it is immediately a little bit more valuable than the same comic in that same grade without a signature. That's true. But it doesn't double it or anything like that. Take a look at these two detective comics from the 90s that I used to complete my Nightfall collection. I got these at auction for like 40, 50 bucks. And guess what? Now that I know that they cost a bare minimum of $70 to get this program slabbed, this person lost money by selling this to me. I didn't know that. So guys, if I get my Hell Arisen number 3, the first full appearance of Punchline sent in, and I get the yellow label, I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for resale value. Even though this is a key, this one might be an example that it might boost the price somewhat more significantly than, let's say, Batman 92, which is not a key. Do it for you. Do it because you want that artist's signature. It would mean a lot to you if you have it. Otherwise, you might end up disappointed. The next really important thing you need to know is you can't pre-screen for 9.8s when you do the signature series. When you normally submit comics in, if you submit 25 or more, you can tell CGC only slab it if it's a 9.8, otherwise I don't want it. You can't do that here. It's not like they're gonna sign the comic and oh, it wasn't a 9.8. Can you please unsign that comic? No, when you submit your books in, you are submitting it to them to sign, and if it's a 9.2, if it's a 8.5, it's gonna be a 9.2 or an 8.5. You guys saw my last CGC unboxing, I got a King in Black number 1 that was a 9.2 even though it was unread. Something crazy happened there, and you know what? If you submit it in expecting a 9.8, you could get a 9.2, just like that example that happened to me, but it's signed. think you're going to see there's a little bit more risk getting this signature series than you thought. Number 3, and you should know this, it is at least $70 to submit one book in. The lowest I have seen was $70, and the highest I saw was like $310. Some artists only charge $70. You send a book in, and that covers the cost of getting it encapsulated, the witnessing, the signing, everything, $70. But if it's like Frank Miller or someone like that, it can get a lot more expensive than $70. It might be $150, it could be $125, it could be $200, it could be $250. I've seen it go all the way to $310 to just get one book signed. It costs $20 or less if you have special programs with CGC to get a normal comic slabbed. But it's going to cost you at least $70 to get it slabbed and witnessed signed. So I'm used to submitting like 25 books in. I've got a stack of only 7 books here because it's going to cost me $70 a pop. Throw in shipping to get it back to me, it is now well over $500. And guess what? I still have to get it shipped down to Florida. That's another $50. So if you just want to submit 7 books in, it's going to cost just $600. And that's the cheapest it goes. You really gotta want those signatures, guys. Make sure you consider this. Number 4, it's not just signatures. You can have them make remarks or sketches. This gives you a little bit more control over the process. If you want someone to write your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man on the cover of a Spider-Man book, you can do so if they're offering the remark program. Now, does that cost more than a signature? You bet. You can even have them do a sketch for you and a remark. Does that cost more? You bet, you bet. But sometimes I know that's pretty cool. I know some people love submitting blank sketch covers of comics. They get them sent in, and they have their favorite artists do a sketch and a little remark on there. I think that's pretty cool. But holy smokes, is that expensive, Batman. Number 5, you can decide where they sign or remark, giving you a little control back in your court. When you submit a comic to CGC, I highly recommend these new window comics that CGC sells on their website. You stick the comic in at the top, and all you do is you peel back the flap, and they'll know where to sign. You can even put on a marker over the flap exactly where you want them to sign. That's pretty cool. Before CGC offered this window book thing, people used to just use the blue painter's tape and put it on the front of the comic over the plastic in a little window and say like sign here. And you can still do that. You don't have to just submit a comic book in as is and have them do it anywhere. If you want it, you have some control. Number 6, pay attention here because this is what I recommend. You can and should resubmit actual slabs. If you've got an existing 9.8 or some grade that you really want it to keep that grade, you can send that in and they will take it out, they will have them sign it, and they will put it back in. Now, pay attention to what I'm about to say. While I've never seen anyone get a grade dip, it has happened, and CGC makes you know this before you submit it in. If I submit my Hell Arisen 3 in, and they take it out of here, these are designed to never have a comic leave. If you crack this open, you risk a low but possible chance of the book being damaged, which could result in a lower grade. Additionally, if you already have a slab that is signed, and 3 years later, you've already got the artist's signature, now you want the writer's signature, you send it in, you risk a lower grade because that signature might be on an ink that lifts when you try to take this cover off. So while I say that submitting existing slabs is better probably than submitting raw books in for these signatures, you really gotta know that you could experience a grade dip. Now I have to say, if I got my Hell Arisen 3 signed and it came back a 9.6, I would be really unhappy. But guess what? That's the risk you have to take if you want to do this. Number 8, you should know, it is cheaper if you get the whole team. Let's take this example right here. I got this signed by the artist Jason Fabok, but it's written by Jeff Johns. If CGC was offering Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok in that same day, it would have been cheaper overall than if I wanted to submit it to Jason one time and then submit it to Jeff Johns another time. If you can, Try to get the whole team involved in this in one shot. It's going to be a lot cheaper that way. You're going to save some money, especially in shipping, on this if you do it this way. Highly recommend. Number 9, getting your book submitted for the signature series has a longer return time than just getting regular books slab. If that really bothers you, you might want to consider this. It's probably going to be at least 2 months before you get your book back. I would argue probably closer to 3. I'm a very patient dude. I've been doing this for a while. I don't care when it comes back. Once it's in the slabs, it's supposed to be eternal, so I can wait. If that bums you out, well, you should know it at least. Number 10, CBCS, the other popular third grading party service, doesn't have such strict witness requirements. You can actually send a Stan Lee signed copy of whatever, submit it in, and they don't need a witness. They don't even need a certificate of authenticity. They will verify the signature on there and confirm if it is or is not Stan Lee's signature. They will give you a grade and the notes signed by Stan Lee if that were the case. And it's the same process with submitting to CBCS. I still recommend using CGC's window bags for submitting to CBCS. I don't have many signed comics, but I've been thinking of sending a couple signed comics in to CBCS, not CGC, CBCS. Let's do a lightning quick recap here, guys. I've got a couple comics here that I want CGC to have James Tynion slab in the upcoming month of, I think it's May or June. So I have to send this in knowing that I might get a grade dip, knowing that it's going to be pretty much $600, knowing everything that I know. It's going to be risky, but to me, it's worth it just because I love that writer so much and I think he's done some great stuff. So guys, if you're about to submit those books in and get those signatures that you really want, weigh all of the pros and cons together, really think about it before you do it, and don't get butt hurt if it becomes a lower grade. You've been warned. I actually called CGC for the answers to these questions directly, so this is coming straight from the source. I had a lot of fun doing research for this, and I think I'm about to join the world of the CGC Signature Series collecting guy. Guys, if you have any questions whatsoever about this process, feel free to leave it in the comments below. As always, my friends, keep on collecting. Don't forget to hit like on your way out.